Welcome to another episode of the Swamp247 Recruiting Podcast. I'm Tyler Harden. Florida added to its 2027 recruiting class on Friday night with a commitment from 2027 defensive lineman Cain Van Norden out of Bishop McNamara High School in District Heights, Maryland. And we've got him on the pod tonight. Welcome to the Swamp247 Recruiting Podcast.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So big news last night, right? First of all, congratulations on committing to Florida. Before we get into that, man, I got to know, where do you get the nickname Big Sandwich?
It's from my dad. I used to sell sandwiches in like 8th grade. They started calling me that as a joke, but then he just kept calling me that. He used to like scream it at like all my like basketball games, and people just started calling me that, and it became my nickname.
Yeah. So, does everybody call you that?
Well, they call me Sandwich. They don't. They just call me Sandwich. Yeah,
Not Big Sandwich, just Sandwich.
yeah. But the whole nickname is Big Sandwich, but they call me Sandwich like shorter. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, what types of sandwiches were you selling back in the day?
Well, my mom, she put pepperoni, cheese, ham, lettuce. She put like seasoning. It was a good sandwich. It wasn't a normal sandwich. It was my sandwich, like my mom's recipe. So yeah.
You still eating it these days?
Yeah, she make it for lunch occasionally.
Gotcha. Gotcha. You
Yeah.
gotta, remember the roots, right, man?
Yes, sir.
For sure. Yeah. So, like I said, obviously last night, man, was a big night for you. You committed to Florida and everything. Of course, this morning was the first time you woke up as a Florida commit. Just how does it feel being a part of the class and being committed to the Gators?
It feels good. I'm really excited. It was a really like hard process, stressful process, but I feel great with my decision on choosing Florida. So yeah.
So it was kind of more relief than excitement, maybe, in making that decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of both,
Yeah,
right?
looking forward. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So let's go back to the beginning, man. When Florida first came into your recruitment, I know it was kind of a late offer. Just what do you kind of remember about that time, and just how did the, kind of offer come to be?
Uh, you know, my coach told me Florida wanted to talk to me, and Coach Saxton was, I think, the first person I talked to. He said he knew my parents, and then after that, we talked on the phone. I talked to Coach Saxton, I think, and they offered me, and they set up a spring visit. I went on a spring visit. It was a great visit. I had a good time. Got to see their academic program, the nutrition program, and I was like, it really like was a really good experience. And I like all the coaches, Coach Smoke, Coach Jeremy, Coach Chapman, and Coach Saxon. They have like a great group,
Yeah,
interesting people.
yeah, like you said, man, you kind of have a unique connection with Coach Saxon. You want to tell the people how you know him?
Well, I don't remember, but I was like a baby. I was an infant, but my parents remember. So, but they worked together somewhere at some school. My parents are both coaches, so like they had a lot of connections and move around a lot. So yeah,
Yeah, didn't you say your dad was like a strength coach,
yeah,
something
he
along
is.
those lines?
Yeah,
Yeah, so you've probably been in the weight room for a while,
yeah,
growing up and everything, getting
uh,
after it. Yeah, so like you said, you don't know too much about your connection with Saxon because it's more so through your parents. Did you kind of have to like trust them in a way and be like, oh, like my parents trust this guy, so I kind
yeah,
of trust him too?
yeah. My mom is like, she's not like mom's a very smart person. So yeah,
Of course, mom always knows best, as
yeah.
they say,
Uh,
right? Yeah. And, so you already had some background on him. You already kind of knew what he was about, mainly through your parents, like I said. How was it getting to know the other guys on the staff? Like you said, Coach Chapman, Coach White, just how was it getting to know those guys over time?
well, they all have like great personality. Like it's easy to talk to them, be friends with them. Like, I was laughing my whole visit up there, so it was just easy to get to know each of them. Yeah.
It, yeah, a bunch of personalities in the defensive line room, right? Just how was it, for you getting to know Coach Chapman more? Like you said, funny guy. Just how was it getting to know him over time?
It was well. He came to see me at my school one time. Had a great talk. I feel like I'm already like comfortable around him. Like I was already like seeing him as my coach. I felt like, and yeah, I just
Yeah.
felt like how comfortable I was around him.
Yeah, that had to have been probably a little bit of a sign how natural it was, maybe in your head, right? Like you said, knowing, seeing him as your coach kind of already early on. So that probably spoke volumes early. And Coach White, right? I know he played major role in your decision. Just, how much of a role did he play in your decision in your eyes?
He played a big role, even though I saw him for a short period of time. Like stuff he taught me in that period of time was just like that's not even like, and for that not even to be like the real like coaching for real, just working me out before like I was committed was just really impacting my decision a lot. I feel like, and, I'm big on coaching and development because I'm new to the sport. So yeah,
Yeah, it's like you got a good glimpse and you're
yeah,
not even there yet, right? So that probably showed you a lot. And, like we've been saying, man, that visit kind of did a lot for you in Florida, right? You got to know the staff that much more. You got to see the program that much more. But what really separated Florida maybe from other schools, from what you saw in that visit?
I feel like the off the field stuff, like the nutrition program, the academic program, the Gatorade program, like the mental therapy program with the players and all that. I just felt like going to Florida, you're gonna be successful whether you go to the NFL or not. Because even you can go to the NFL, play, have a long career, and still have like your whole life ahead of you. So I just feel like success. Like I feel like if I went there, I would be successful in something. Because you never know what could happen nowadays, and like that's what really separated them from other schools. I feel like.
Yeah, academically, man, I know that also played a big role in your decision. Like, how do you see Florida fitting your kind of needs and expectations academically?
Uh, well, I feel like for the little time I had to talk with the academic director, like it was just like I was like comfortable around him. Like he reminded me of somebody I used to know. So it was just like I feel like if I went there, he was really gonna like get me right if I went there. Like he would make sure I'm straight.
Yeah, and you're looking to go into like business law. I know that's not like a sure thing, obviously, but that's kind of
Yeah.
like, what you're looking into. Gotcha. Yeah, and you brought up the Gatorade program, of course. That's made a big difference in like a handful of guys. Recruitment. Just what were your thoughts, learning more about that and everything?
It was it's funny. Like I feel like they brought my personality out of me. So it's not easy to do that. I feel like people who I don't know. So yeah,
Yeah, I heard like they'll have some like pretty deep conversations with you.
yeah.
And like at the time, of course, you weren't even committed. Like you weren't even technically a part of the program. So, what did that kind of show you alone? Just like about Florida and the people in the program, just seeing Gatorade alone, like did that help your decision at all? Just knowing the people,
Yeah, I
in the
feel like
building and everything?
during my like recruiting process with Florida, they made it like known the priority. Like they always like shown the priority. Like some schools would like say it, but like I feel like they shown it more than any school that was recruiting me. So
Yeah, and I like we've said a couple times now, I know that visit did a lot in your recruitment, but in the time after, your visit between then and now, like what made Florida stand out that much more in your process?
well, Coach Chapman saw me, and 2 weeks later, Coach Gerard, I mean, no, not Coach Gerard, Coach Saxon and Coach Barry White came to see me. So I feel like no other school has done that. You know, they really,
Yeah.
oh, my birthday. Every coach from the coaching staff sent me a birthday card for my birthday. And nobody else did that, so that just showed me.
Yeah. Loads and loads of mail from Florida in the mailbox, probably that day. Right. Little
So,
things like that. Like looking back on it, just what did that mean to you to like, like you said, getting those like birthday cards on your birthday and them coming up to see you, multiple coaches. Like, what did those little things really do for you in your recruitment with Florida?
I feel like if I went to Florida, I could like trust like process and all that stuff. Like them doing that is really showing me that they're making me a priority like they say they are. And I feel like if I go there, they're gonna make sure I'm straight, make sure I'm successful, and develop me. Yeah, how they
So,
just tell me like how bad they want me, basically.
so when was the moment you realized like Florida's where you want to be? Florida's the school you want to commit to?
Really, I like Florida since I left the spring date, honestly. But you gotta. I had more visits, but every time they saw me, I just like, yeah, I need to go to Florida. My family said the same thing. So
Was it kind of like you said, you went on more visits after Florida? Was it kind of like hard to visit other schools knowing like Florida did so well and Florida set the bar really high in your process? Was it hard for you at all to like keep looking at other schools?
well, I'm just really like grateful for like all the opportunities God gave me, and I wasn't looking down on schools. I was just being grateful for even having the opportunity to be in the position I was in. So I feel like I was very more grateful,
Yeah, at the end of the day, like not everybody gets to have the experiences you had in your process, right? The amount of recognition in the schools that were involved in your process, like a once in a lifetime opportunity for you and things like that to go through the recruiting process,
Yeah, and
right?
I feel like Florida set the tone for like what I wanted in a school.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, it might be hard to pinpoint because I know your commitment is so fresh, but if you had to pick a school that came in second, who would it be?
Probably Georgia.
Georgia.
So
Yeah. That's ironic because, of course, Florida and Georgia, big rivals, right? You're going to be learning more about that rivalry, I'm sure, in the near future, right? But man, what's next for you? Commitments out of the way, recruitment's out of the way. You're the newest commit in the Florida 2027 class. What's next for you coming up after, your big news?
really just keep working. This is my first off season, like just football, because I was a two-sport athlete, so I never got a off season to myself to train for football. So I'm really excited to just really just do straight football, and I feel like I'm gonna have like a great year, like a breakout year this year, and bring my team to a championship for high
Yeah,
school.
you bring that up, man. You're brand new to football, really, and
Yeah,
not a lot of people really know that, right? How did you get in to playing football in the first place?
I'm not gonna lie, my parents forced me, but because when I was a kid, I was too big. In Louisiana, I was like too big. I'm from Louisiana, but from Louisiana, I was too big to play like little league, so I just played basketball. And then,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Did
parents
you always
forced me.
kind of think basketball would be the sport you end up playing, at a
Yeah,
high level like this?
I did. Then, Florida started offering me. I had to change my mind and stuff. So,
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. You thankful, to say the least, that your parents kind of forced you to, to
yeah.
go play football?
Now, I used to not like football, but I love the sport now, so I'm grateful.
Yeah. And you said you're originally from Louisiana, right? When did you go up
Well,
to Maryland?
I move around a lot, but I moved to Maryland. I moved to Delaware 2023. I went to school in Philly, and then I moved to hit the Maryland in August of last year. So, and I grew up in Louisiana. Like, that's where, like, I gained consciousness in Louisiana. Then, like, when I turned 15, we moved to Delaware. Then I transferred schools and we moved to Maryland. But I've been all over the place. So, yeah.
Yeah. So you've seen a lot of different places and stuff. How do you
Yeah.
like Maryland compared to like everywhere else you've been?
Maryland, I like it a lot. Well, basketball wise, it's very competitive. Louisiana, though, football is like, I think Louisiana is like the best football state. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, you're
no,
near DC,
yeah,
right? How far are you from like DC?
40 minutes.
It's not too bad. But, have the Florida 2027 commits been reaching out since made drop the news that you're joining the
Yeah,
class?
some of them have.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Who's been reaching out off the top of your head?
Uh, quarterback, quarterback commit. I can't remember his name right now.
Gavin. Davidson.
probably.
Yeah.
It's a couple other people. I just can't remember their names off the top of my head. You know, my social media is like still blowing up and stuff. So I gotta let that go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You bring up an interesting point. How has it been hearing from Florida fans, Florida commits, whoever in the community, right? Just how's it been hearing from everybody down in Gainesville?
It's been good. You know, I knew they had a big fan base before I committed. So like, yeah, I knew it was gonna be like that.
Kind of like your preview to, seeing how passionate the fan base is and, how welcoming they could be, to their guys, right? So,
Yeah.
oh, that's great. That's great. And that kind of said, man, this is probably one of the first opportunities you have to, speak to them as a Florida commit. What's your message to the Florida fans, now that you're a part of the class?
I just want y'all to know I'm a worker hard, and I'm a hard worker. I'm a dog, and I'm just trying to bring us. Let's go Gators, man. Go Gators. Bro. Yeah,
Absolutely.
but
Yeah. Yeah. And what are they getting in you as a defensive lineman for the ones who aren't really familiar with your game, let's say?
I'm a very versatile lineman. I feel like I move like very well for my size. A lot of people think I should be an old lineman until they see me move. Like, okay, I see why you play D line now. I'm a hard worker. I'm here to learn. Now I came to Florida to learn with Coach Chapman. He's going to develop me, and I'm just trying to get to that next level. But really, just Coach Chapman's going to develop me and like make me better than I already am right now.
Yeah, and this has kind of been a question that's come up a lot since you joined the class. Where do they kind of see you on the defensive line?
Well, when I was on like my visit tour and I was weighing above, like my weight wasn't looking too good. I got back to my normal weight. I was 300 on my like tours because going out on colleges, you go eat a lot of food. I'm 280, yeah, but I'm back to 280 now. So they see me like 5 to 3 or like yeah 5 to 3, maybe one tech, but really a 3 tech, 5 tech, one of those spots. I can play both of those spots, and I already played both of those spots in my career, so I don't mind. I don't mind playing either spot. I feel like I'm good at either spot. But
They see you moving around a good bit,
yeah,
right?
moving around a lot.
Yeah, I feel like that's why the staff, really liked you the way that they did or do, I should say, because you're so versatile and can play pretty much every position on the line. So a lot of opportunities there to get on the field
Yeah.
early. So that's pretty good. And man, you brought up an interesting thing. Of course, I got to ask what your nickname sandwich, out of all the schools you've been to, outside of Florida, obviously, which school had the best food in your mind?
Wait, let me think real quick. I gotta think. Oh, Texas A&M definitely had the best food besides Florida.
What, they have some barbecue down there and
Uh,
everything?
they had they're like normal cafeteria. They had lobster rolls and all type of crazy stuff, gourmet food in there.
I know it's been a long ride for you to kind of reach this point and committing to Florida and wrapping up your recruitment. And I know you're obviously brand new to football. So looking back on your journey, just what are your kind of thoughts on how it's all unfolded and where you are right now?
I'm really grateful. There's been times I wanted to quit football, so I felt like it wasn't doing nothing for me, and now I'm able to get this opportunity to play at a great school like Florida. I'm really grateful for everything God's given me, and I won't take for granted what God's given me, and I'm gonna keep working hard so I can ultimately get to the NFL, which is my goal. And I wanna go to the NFL from Florida. So
Yeah, yeah, thankful for all the ups and downs and everything in between. Right, absolutely. Well, he's the newest Florida 2027 commit and defensive lineman Cain Van Norden out of Maryland, and I'm Tyler Harden with Swamp 24/7 and 24/7 Sports. Cain, appreciate the time, man.
yes, sir, thank you.